Next on 9 News, authorities in Glenwood Springs with startling new details about a man found dead at an amusement park over the weekend.
Former President Donald Trump might not make the ballot in Colorado next year. It all depends on a trial that started today surrounding a constitutional amendment from 155 years ago.
And with the snow over the weekend, ski season is officially upon us. Now we know which resort will be the second to open in Colorado. 4 o'clock at 9 News starts now.
Good afternoon. On this Monday, we begin with a disturbing update regarding a man found dead inside an amusement park in Glenwood Springs over the weekend. Evidence suggests the man was going to carry out a mass shooting attack.
It is a shocking story. Police now saying that they found the 20-year-old heavily armed with guns and explosives. Now, at this point, investigators say they believe the man took his own life. Our investigative reporter Jeremy Hole has been following this story all day. Jeremy joins us now with the latest update.
Yeah, this sounds pretty alarming. This 20-year-old man was dressed in all black with tactical gear, a ballistic vest, and a helmet, almost like a member of the SWAT team, according to the Garfield County Sheriff. He was armed with 2 ghost guns, an AR-15-like rifle, and handgun. And the suspect left a message on the wall in the bathroom where he was found dead. We'll get into that in a minute. This all started to unfold on Saturday morning at the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park. The 20-year-old man was found dead in a ladies' bathroom Saturday morning before the park was to open to the public. The sheriff says once they discovered the man's body, they found not only guns, but numerous explosive devices, real and fake, on his body. They also found explosive devices in a car that he used to drive up to the park. He also had numerous fully loaded magazines on him, along with novelty grenades strapped around his belt. The suspect clearly had a plan to carry out some sort of attack, but evidence shows he took his own life with a gun before that happened. The sheriff spoke to the press within the past hour, and they indicated they did not find any warning the suspect left behind.
He was just completely under the radar. To the best of my knowledge at this point, and again, we don't know for certainty, that there was nothing to indicate any type of warning or any type of concern on the part of family, friends, school, what have you. But those are the things we'll be finding out as time goes on and we do a deep dive into this suspect's situation.
The suspect did leave a written note he wrote on the wall of the bathroom. According to the sheriff, he wrote, quote, "I am not a killer. I just wanted to get into the caves," end quote. This incident, of course, raises all sorts of alarms in the community and questions too. So far, the coroner in Garfield County has not released the man's name yet, but the sheriff said he did go to high school in Carbondale, which is south of Glenwood Springs. So there's a lot here to follow, and investigators say there's a lot of work for them to do.
Jeremy, I mean, such a popular place, a place where families are attracted to, and then when you hear about what was there, and they really have to talk to so many people in this person's life.
Yeah, they have to talk to his friends, his family, and right now we reached out to the park. The park says they have surveillance cameras. It's clearly that this man trespassed onto the park, so they're looking into that. So there's going to be more to be learned in the coming days about this, Kim.
Okay. It could have ended far differently. Yeah. I mean, a life is lost, and somebody that clearly is having problems, but wow.
Very alarming for that small community out there,
yep.
For sure.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado is seeing a lot of the political spotlight nationally this week because former President Trump's ability to be on the ballot in Colorado in 2024 is on trial this week in a Denver courtroom. 6 Colorado residents, 4 of them Republicans, 2 unaffiliated voters, suing to keep Trump from appearing on the ballot. They're citing the 14th Amendment, now 155 years old. 9 News political reporter Marshall Zellinger joins us from outside of the city and county building where the trial's taking place. Marshall, no one's ever had this happen. No one's ever been kept off of a ballot due to the 14th Amendment.
No, but last year a New Mexico County commissioner was removed from office after a lawsuit involving the same section of the Constitution. What's happening inside the courtroom now, the 6 Colorado voters have to prove to a judge that Trump's actions on January 6th equaled engaging in an insurrection, and then using Section 3 of the 155-year-old 14th Amendment, it would disqualify him from being a candidate for future office, especially on a presidential ballot like in Colorado, where this lawsuit is taking place. Now, Two of the people who took the stand today so far have been officers who were at the Capitol on January 6th. D.C. Officer Daniel Hodges testified first. He is the officer who was widely seen in video of being injured when he was crushed in a doorway at the Capitol. Former U.S. Capitol Officer Winston Pingen just finished his testimony in the last hour. Their testimony, along with Trump's own words during his speech on the morning of January 6, are meant to show him engaging in an insurrection after having sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution. Using that part of the 14th Amendment would allow him to be disqualified from being on a ballot for a future office.
I'm sure that Trump will claim that because he used the words, quote, peacefully and patriotically later in that speech, that he did not therefore engage in insurrection. That claim is wrong at every level. He used fight 20 times in that speech, peaceful only once.
On January 6th, he called for peace, and he used the word peace at least 4 times in his speech at the Ellipse and 2 tweets and a video message. Someone doesn't just sort of stumble into starting an insurrection. They have to have the intent to do that. And you'll hear evidence that President Trump took very specific actions to try to prevent violence.
The attorneys for the 6 Coloradans trying to keep Trump off of the ballot are basing a lot of their argument on the January 6th commission in the committee report from Congress. That report concluded there was proof that Trump assisted and aided in the insurrection on January 6th. Now, one of Trump's attorneys, former Republican Secretary of State Scott Gessler, argues in court that that report is one-sided, that the January 6th committee never heard the other side, which is what he is presenting in this case in the Denver courtroom, and that the judge will get to hear the other side before determining the debate about whether it was an insurrection or not, and whether the president engaged in an insurrection, and whether that's evidence enough to keep him off the ballot using a 155-year-old part of the Constitution, Tom.
Well, there's much more still to come in this week, but talk about disqualifications. The Trump team wanted the judge to recuse herself from this trial, right?
Yeah, this happened over the weekend. They filed a motion to have her recuse herself, citing a $100 contribution from October 2022 to a liberal group whose main purpose is to get Republican Representative Lauren Boebert out of office, but they've also opined on January 6th being an insurrection. She wasn't a judge at the time. She had been appointed to fill a vacancy and hadn't started yet, so the contribution didn't happen while she was a judge, but in court she did not recuse herself, saying that she didn't remember it, however, that she hadn't made any preconceived notions to the facts of the case, and because of that, she wasn't going to recuse herself.
Well, many people around the country will be following this one, as will Marshall. Thanks for bringing us up to date. Marshall Zellinger from the City and County Building. Marshall, of course, bundled up a bit. We're warming up some, but we are still in the 40s. There you can see those beautiful blue skies over Ball Arena in downtown, though.
Yeah, aren't they playing tonight?
The Nuggets are home against the Utah Jazz.
Okay. Yeah, it is cold. It's a little nippy. I mean, good to see the sun, Kathy, but I don't know if it's just all the snow on the ground that you're still like, whoa, when you go outside.
It's the first snow of the season, which again is kind of a shock to the system, right? After this extended fall that we've been spoiled with. And then to have such a big storm, to drop almost 8 inches of snow in Denver, a foot along the I-25 corridor and Front Range foothills. It's going to take some time to melt away that snow and ice. And with that snow cover, good radiational cooling keeps that cold air right here at the surface. Although with sunshine today, we did manage 43 degrees, and that is much better than the high of 30 yesterday. Look where we started. 11 was the low in Denver, 9 in Greeley, minus 13 in Level this morning, minus 6 in Buena Vista, 7 in Pueblo, 0 in Lyman. So the temperatures this afternoon have rebounded very nicely. The winds are light this afternoon as well. And with that wind shift out of the southwest, we're starting to see some milder temperatures. Lamar at 51 now, 45 in Greeley, and 46 for Grand Junction. We did see a nice little bump in the temperatures today with the sunshine and the wind shift, about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Watching some of those higher gusts peak in the 30 to 35 mile per hour range between Nederland and Black Hawk up toward Loveland Pass and Kenosha Pass. Kind of a west to northwest flow slow. We basically have dry air, though, a stable layer of air. Our storm is well off to the east of us. That means high pressure is going to set up. We've just got a beautiful weather pattern this week. Some clouds coming in. I was thinking maybe the mountains might see a little bit of snow, but it looks primarily dry. So a little bit of a break if you just kind of want to ease into that winter season here with more snow coming eventually. So we're in the low 40s now. We'll drop around freezing at 8 o'clock. Coming up in Maine weather, another cold night, not as cold as last night. Slow warming trend this week. And how about a not so scary Halloween forecast? Always good news there. We'll break down the timing of everything in just a bit.
And speaking of snow, a second Colorado ski area ready to open this week after a weekend of snow and these great conditions, i.e. cold temperatures when it comes to snowmaking. Keystone made the announcement. They're going to open up on Wednesday. That means they'll be following Arapahoe Basin, becoming the next ski area to get their season started. They'll be opening up on Wednesday, which is November 1st. They got about 14 inches of snow from this weekend storm, and the cold temperatures mean the snowmakers have been to really do their stuff, covering a lot of ground and get the lifts turning Wednesday morning at Keystone.
Temperatures were a little rough in October, but thankfully, thanks to our state-of-the-art automated snowmaking machines, we were able to make snow on a moment's notice whenever the windows opened up. So in just a matter of days, we were able to go from a little bit warm and slushy to the winter wonderland that you see around you.
To be there, Keystone starts the gondola at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. They'll have donuts, hot chocolate, and of course, the one thing you need if you're going to be skiing. They have a DJ.
Yeah, you do.
And new this season at Keystone, a new lift that will service the Bergman Bowl, beginning to advance terrain that in the past could only be reached by those who were brave enough to hike it or had the money to get a snowcat.
They're going to have fun up there. Advent Health Porter Hospital is currently dealing with a loss of hot water and heat. Porter says that the emergency boiler is en route and will be installed as soon as possible. The outage affects the Porter campus but does not include the medical office buildings on East Harvard Avenue, as well as Porter Medical Plaza on South Downing Street. Still, the hospital's a big deal. All procedures scheduled today through Wednesday are being rescheduled. We're going to have much more on the outage coming up on 9 News at 5.
Scheduling problems with witnesses made for another delay today in the trial of Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard. Woodyard, one of the 5 first responders indicted in the 2019 death of Elijah McClain. Woodyard confronted McClain after a 911 caller had reported that he was wearing a mask and seemed, quote, sketchy. McClain was not armed and not breaking any laws. Our investigative reporter Kevin Vaughn has been in court daily and has this look at the trial so far.
Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard's trial has been one of fits and starts. 7 days of testimony.
I didn't see anybody get too angry when we had our last 3-day weekend.
But also 3 days canceled by the judge.
I think after discussing it, you're going to have another one.
Canceled because this trial in Elijah McClain's death has moved much faster than the first. And that's meant scheduling problems for witnesses.
Every jury and every juror are different.
9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson says delays could help the jurors stay refreshed, but also have a potential downside.
There is always a risk that jurors who have unexpected days off from jury service will lose the thread of the testimony, but the lawyers will remind them of what the witnesses said when it comes time for closing argument.
Woodyard faces a single count of reckless manslaughter. He put McClain in a carotid neck hold that, according to expert testimony, led to life-threatening medical issues, including trouble breathing. That was before paramedics gave McClain ketamine, which caused his death.
The common thread for the police officers is that paramedics are the ones responsible.
Even so, one officer has already been convicted in another trial under what's called the complicity theory.
If you assist, aid, or otherwise contribute to the occurrence of a crime before it takes place, you are a complicit and you are just as guilty as the actual perpetrator.
Eventually, this jury will render its own verdict. In Brighton, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
The prosecution had rested on Friday. The defense is expected to begin calling those witnesses tomorrow and should be wrapping up by the end of the day on Thursday.
The Buffs didn't just lose to UCLA. Some players say they lost more in the locker room. Police in Pasadena are investigating a report that several items disappeared during the game Saturday night. On the Well Off Media YouTube channel run by Deion Sanders Jr., this video posted yesterday recapped the game, including several players reporting their jewelry was stolen from the locker room. UCLA's athletic department confirmed a report was filed to Pasadena police and that they were in communication with police, Rose Bowl officials, and CU. Nothing new to report as of yet.